Good morning everyone to this little impromptu Friday video. A lot of you may have already seen this on Instagram, but I promised to come back on camera today and do a little look together with you and hopefully inspire some of you to bust out one of their Soleil something quads. This is quad that is from a really old limited edition collection from Tom Ford. So yesterday was Thursday, obviously, since today is Friday, and I actually just took a day off. I wanted to hang out with my besties, and we've had a really hard time like arranging our schedules in such a way that we can all three meet for like a whole day. And since one of us has two kids and it's quite difficult to arrange weekends, yesterday her kids were at daycare, so we could actually arrange it easier during the week. And also going to that designer outlet is never a good idea on a Saturday because it is packed with Dutch and German people, as well as all the other tourists who come specifically to that outlet to shop. And may I just say, it was absolutely glorious. I really needed a day off because as it is, I haven't really taken a day off, I think, since the Christmas holidays, because in the past few weeks we've had a couple of like national holiday days, like second Easter day, and like I mentioned a few days ago was King's Day. But unfortunately I have an experiment. I'm making kidney organoids, which maybe I will tell you about a bit more someday, but the protocol for that takes about 25 days, and I actually need to be there almost every other day, especially like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Luckily I don't have to go in the weekend, but you know, second Easter day was a Monday, King's Day was a Wednesday, so unfortunately for me I couldn't really take a day off. So I thought I would just swap things around and take one of my Thursdays or Tuesdays off, and as it is, yesterday we decided to finally go for it. And may I just say, we chose the absolute most stunning day to do this, because today's already the weather is not as nice anymore. The spring here has been a little bit whimsical, because even though it's sunny and it looks deceptively nice outside, you go out and there's like this really strong northern wind, which makes you feel really chilly, unless you're sitting somewhere where there is no wind, and then you get really warm really fast. But anyway, it was an absolutely glorious day because there was almost no wind. The sun was out the whole day. I think the temperatures went up to at least 18-19 degrees. And then we went to the outlet, and oh my gosh, I think I bought half the outlet. It was really my day for shopping yesterday. My main goal actually was to find a replacement summer backpack, because as I also shared on Instagram a couple of months ago, one of my cats, we shall never know which one, destroyed my favorite summer backpack, which was from Paul's Boutique. I will leave a picture somewhere on the screen because I still have it somewhere in my stories on Instagram, so you can see what one of the bandits did with my backpack. Basically, it was completely demolished, and I was even more sad to find out that the brand that made that backpack, Paul's Boutique, doesn't even exist anymore. So I was like 10 times more heartbroken when that backpack was gone. Anyway, so we went to the outlet, and my primary goal was basically to find a replacement for that backpack, because I have one now, but it's not really a summer. I mean, it's like an all-round color. It's like this light brownish color, but I really wanted to have something more summery, like a light pistachio color, or a light teal, or a yellow, or a light blue, or, you know, anything that is not a dark color. My mission has been accomplished to absolute... I could not have wished for a more perfect backpack. I will show it to you in a second. It's actually right behind me in that pink bag which says Cochinelle. There is a Cochinelle outlet store in that designer outlet, and we always pass by that store, and I always want to like go out of that store with half the bags, but they're just so expensive that I have to limit myself to either nothing or one, maybe once a year. So last year I bought a really nice like tote bag, like in this gorgeous like forest green color. And yesterday, as soon as we walked into the store, I located it. I locked eyes with the backpack of my dreams. Let me show it to you. I don't know if you've heard of Cochinelle, but it's like an Italian brand which makes luxury bags, and they just always feel so beautiful and so well made. And this is the backpack of my dreams. This light pastel yellow color, I didn't even think that it was possible that someone would make this backpack, let alone Cochinelle. So you can only imagine how excited I was when I saw this backpack. And the nice thing about it is that it's not too small, because usually when I see backpacks like this, they're just way too small, and I like to have something a little bit bigger, so when I go to work I can take my lunch, I can put all of my crap in there, I can put my water bottle. So I actually took everything out and I tried to fit in my water bottle just to make sure it fits in there, which it does. And it has two compartments, so a bigger compartment here and a somewhat smaller compartment here, which is perfect because I keep a bunch of crap also in like little nooks and crannies of my backpacks. So yeah, she is absolute perfection, and I didn't even care how much that bag cost. I wanted it. But luckily for me, because it's an outlet, I bought it on discount. The manager of the store was so moved by my response to that bag, because I walked in and I was like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I just like started hyperventilating in the middle of the store, and he gave me an extra 20% off. So all in all, I purchased the bag for 150 euros, which for a Cochinelle bag is really not too bad at all. Anyway, moving on from the backpack, I bought a bunch of other things, some clothing that I can show you throughout other videos. I bought some like high platform sandals because I threw away some of mine last year because they were getting super old. So we went into the Clark's store and I bought 2 pairs, also on beautiful sale. But I think the thing you're here is because you're interested in the makeup, so let's circle back to that. So there is a store that they opened there relatively recently, I want to say at least like not more than 2 years ago, and it sells like discounted sort of luxury makeup. There's Estee Lauder, they have Clinique, they have MAC, they have I saw a lot of Too Faced last time I was there, some Bobbi Brown, but they also have this little corner with Tom Ford makeup. And every time I walk into that store, I lock eyes with this Soleil collection from Tom Ford, which featured these 3 quads in the wet and dry formula in this beautiful white packaging. And every time I walked out of that store feeling very triumphant that I did not succumb to the desire. But as you guys know, I recently bought the Body Heat Quad, and I kind of fell in love with the wet and dry formula enough to know that if those quads are still available next time I go there, I will not be able to resist. So I didn't. I was in the store and I was thinking which quad to get, and I got the one that contains these 4 shades. Let me quickly remove the little useless applicators so I can show you the colors up close and personal. So it comes with this sort of like champagne frosty white, this light like peachy bronzy nude, this gorgeous like silvery taupe shade, and this beautiful mint. And I thought it was such a, you know, stunning, unique combination of colors. And upon swatching, they felt really, really nice. So I thought, you know what, the other quads are also really pretty. There was one with like more peachy nude colors that I actually bought for my mom-in-law, and one with more like grayish blue toned eyeshadows, which also looked really beautiful, but I knew I wasn't going to get as much use out of it. So I decided to just get this one, and it was discounted from 80 something to 60 euros. So, you know, all in all, still expensive, but not as expensive as if you would buy it new. And the funny thing about this collection is I know that it's been sold out everywhere for a really long time. And the ironic thing is that every time I go to that outlet, there's still plenty of these quads left there. So not only you can get them, but you can get them on sale. Let's watch the eyeshadows now. I do have my Body Heat Quad here as a reference for, you know, comparing some of the shades, because the Body Heat Quad also has like a champagne and some like taupey browns. Also, let me just hold them next to each other so you can see that there are some similarities, but in the end of the day, they're very different. Oh, I forgot to tell you how this one is called. This is called Soleil et Lune, which I would assume means the sun and the moon. The first 2 shades, let's give them a swatch. Like I said, the champagne has quite a frosty tone to it, and this is the more peachy nude. And I don't want to like repeat myself too much, but in case you have not been around my channel and you didn't hear my thoughts on these quads previously, these are very reminiscent in terms of their formula to the Pat McGrath Blitz shades that you will find in her Mothership palettes. Let's watch the bottom 2 shades, so the taupe nude and the mint green. As you can see, really, really smooth, not super sparkly or anything, also not something that I expected, because I'm already quite familiar with this formula. These are not the sparkliest eyeshadows out there. They're just very, very smooth and very elegant on the eyes. And the way I like to spruce them up is by putting an Astral over top of them, because the two formulas and textures just work so well together. And now, just as a reference, I actually would like to swatch, well, let's just swatch this whole thing against the other quad to have an idea how different the shades are. So this here now are swatches for body heat in comparison to Soleil et Lune. Okay, I think I swapped the order of these two, but as you can see, the two quads are actually quite different from each other. None of these shades are really quite similar to each other, and I could actually probably just pair the two quads together, because I think the body heat one has somewhat more depth compared to a lot of the shades in Soleil et Lune. Also, I don't know whether you can appreciate that this mint shade is somewhat deeper in tone and a bit more dulled out and more blue toned compared to the shade we got in Pat McGrath's Bridgerton 2 palette, which probably you would like to have seen swatched by side. So let me grab that palette. They're also completely different textures. Like I said, one is more like an Astral, the other one is just a straight up metallic. Belle of the Ball and the Tom Ford Quad. You can see the Tom Ford Quad leans so much more blue in terms of tone, and so much more dulled out, I guess in a good way, if that's something you prefer and you don't want something that's super bright. So these are, you know, comparison swatches of the two eyeshadows. But I am really drawn to this gray taupe here. I've already primed my eyelids, so I'm just going to grab my little Worker Pro here from Sonia G, and I'm going to go straight into that gray shade, and I'm going to start applying it on my lid here. And I'm going to leave like the inner third of my lid free. Oh, let me zoom you in. So I'm going to leave that inner third free, because I think I might pop that mint shade there. And I'm just going to pack this on my lid, and then cleaning off my brush and going to slightly bring it up in my crease. And these shades, as I also mentioned before, are so easy to work with that you just slap it on, you do a couple of blending motions and you're done. So as you can see, this applies quite subtly. I think if I wet my brush, which of course makes sense, this is the wet and dry formula, this is going to become quite much more punchy, which I intend on doing in a little bit, but I prefer to always build a little bit and blend these types of eyeshadows out, just using them dry. And I'm actually quite curious what would happen if I tried to build up just using my finger, so I'm going to just apply this shade here using my finger. I think actually in terms of building up pigment, this won't really need wetting in order to become more intense. I think my finger is just doing the job perfectly. So these are never really going to give you like that gradation from really light to really deep. They're just not meant to look like that. But okay, so the next eyeshadow I'm going to grab, and I'm actually immediately going to wet my brush for that because I want to see how it looks wet immediately, is obviously that minty green shade. I'm going to use Fix Plus, just spritz my brush and apply that here into the inner portion of my eye. I don't want to put it all the way in the inner corner because I feel like that slightly dulled out tone is not really going to do much for my inner corners. Actually, you could do that, but then you would have to apply a little bit of the frosty inner corner shade maybe over top of that to give it a bit more light. Spritzing for my other eye. And now on my inner corner I'm going to take the frosty champagne type of shade. Oh yeah, that is a really nice inner corner. On my lower lash line I'm going to grab the only shade we didn't use in the palette yet, which is this one, and just going to run it here. This might actually not be the best for my lower lashes because it's not really showing up much. I think this is more of a lid shade. Scratch that. We're going to go back into the taupey gray and apply that on the lower lashes to finish off the look. This is really beautiful. I feel like Ice Queen. Actually, speaking of feeling like Ice Queen, I think Astral Solstice from Pat McGrath is going to be perfect to finish off this look. So let me grab my Divine Rose 1 palette. Obviously, if you don't want the sparkles, just skip this step and leave the look as it is, because I think this looks beautiful as it is. But I want to grab a little bit of this shade, Astral Solstice, and I want to pop that with a tiny bit of Fix Plus onto the center of my lids. Oh, speaking of that, I was wearing actually Divine Rose 1 yesterday, and when I was at the store purchasing the quads and I was paying, I had a short interaction with the lovely guy who was the salesperson there, and he asked what I was wearing. He was wearing himself a bit of makeup, so I could see he has interest in it, and he asked what I was wearing, and I was like, well, I don't know whether you've heard of this brand, but you know, usually to like layman people, if I say Pat McGrath Labs, they're like, you might as well have said something in Chinese to me. But he immediately was like, oh yeah, I know it, and I've just started to build up my collection. And we talked a little bit about the palettes that he has at the moment, and it was just like a lovely bonding moment with someone over Pat McGrath Labs. Anyway, spritzing my brush. And I'm going to apply this right here in between the gray and the green, because I think it will also give a very nice transition between the two, and it will really like make the center of the lid pop. Alright you guys, on my lips I have a combination of She Is Heaven from Pat McGrath, which is one of my favorite like more nude lipsticks. It doesn't really lean too cold or too warm, which is one of the reasons I love it so much. And over top of that, just for a little bit of a sheen, I applied Modesty by MAC. But overall I can tell you I am actually quite happy with this look, and I can honestly say that I don't think there are other eyeshadows in my collection that I can quite achieve the same look with. So this is quite unique. I still find it quite unique of a color story and a very interesting little eyeshadow palette. So I'm very happy to have it. This look will obviously be far more appropriate for like the winter months than for the summer months, and it really doesn't fit with my nails, which are like a very nice bright pastel yellow that fits much better with my new backpack. But I really wanted to demo this little quad for you, and I'm still going to play around with it a little bit more, see how I can pair it with the body heat quad. Let me know if you would be interested in a video where I do something with the two quads together. But I hope that you enjoyed this little impromptu video on a Friday morning. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!